The dirty little secret of creative work is that it actually involves a lot of drudgery. There's like this core thing that you spend so much time on that you love, that's super fun to make. And then there's getting that core thing out into lots of different channels. You have to create a headline for it. You got to get it on X. You got to get it on LinkedIn, to write a description for it, for YouTube, and then for Spotify. It's everywhere. That's why we built Spiral. Spiral is a powerful prompt builder that's designed to help you start at 80% on repetitive writing, thinking, and decision-making tasks. So let me give you an example. Let's talk about my podcast. Okay, so this is Spiral, and this is a Spiral specifically built for turning podcast transcripts into tweets, which is something that I need desperately because I hate coming up with tweets for my podcast. So rather than having to stare at a blank page and futz around for like an hour trying to figure out, okay, like how am I going to tweet this? What I do is I just take the transcript, I paste it in there, and then I press run. And then boom, I have a tweet. Seth Stevens Davidowitz wrote a book in just 30 days using ChatGPT. This is actually like a really, really great hook. It also pulled out who he is. It pulled out some of the most interesting ideas from the podcast. These are all things that I need to do and that it just does sort of automatically for me. And if you look, this is the tweet that I actually did for this episode. It has the exact same hook. Spiral actually wrote this and it went fairly viral on Twitter. Of course, I spent a bunch of time editing it, but I didn't have to spend that much time because Spiral had the bones already done for me. And I use this for lots of other things too. So for example, one of the things I have to do a lot is I have to take an article and turn it into a headline. And so if I go here and grab one of my articles, finding the right headline is always sort of a pain, but we created a Spiral that is trained on all of our top performing headlines. So if I just paste it in there and press generate multiple, I'll get a bunch of headline suggestions that are based on the article and what tends to resonate most with every reader. So we've got the living map of language, how language models actually work, demystifying language models, a map to meaning, language models explained for humans. This is actually a very good headline. This is the headline that I actually used for the piece. So it's really good and it's really helpful. And just to tell you a little bit about how it works. So if we go back to the original Spiral we were talking about, so turning podcast transcripts to tweets, if I press edit, basically the way it works is I say what I want to convert from into. So I want to convert podcast transcripts into tweets. Then I give it a bunch of examples. So I give it examples of previous tweets I've done that have the style and the voice that I want. And I also will give it examples of input and output. So basically I'll give it an example of a transcript and an example of a tweet that came out of that transcript. So the model will learn as many details as possible about how to take a transcript and turn it into a tweet in my style and in my voice. Then I press extract patterns, and this will have the AI write a guide for itself for how to do this well. And then I get this form that I can use myself. I can share with my team, and you can see there's a share button, so I can make it public. I can share it with my team. It can be private. You can also edit the full prompt, so you can go and change the prompt to be whatever you want. And yeah, that's it. That's Spiral. It's really simple. It's really powerful. We use it all the time internally. We have a bunch of other writers and content teams using it. And I'm just really excited to see what you build with it.